this one or sometime next week, will be one of the last times I do this. This is from certain things that have gone on within the apartment. Either McRaven has just been told to move off, or made enough noise. Things have been checked, but what they end up doing is I end up losing my apartment, as they were planning on not to. So I didn't get the lateral transfer, which is just designed to give me a hardship. The other thing is, it's because before, what would happen, I would lose my confidence. Is I'd get a process going in my trading, then I'd lose confidence in it. So I have only a couple days to start nailing down my trades and get paid for them. So it's actually pretty good. Things are going should be going well. Either or, it is a set system to push me out of the financial industry and everything else. And that's fine. It will not work. What the Democrats have won is, so far as, and then try to state you're not supposed to zero things out. So apparently, once again, wherever they're using my name, changing my name up, changing who and how I behave in the public sphere to fit their narrative, which is the narrative, as it's shown, where Black Americans or any person who's melanated fits only into a type of personality behavior set that does not fit me. So that's the main reason I know most of the things are done through racism. And then also, when going to the last time I went to see RPM now, the both the real estate agent there has a she's very flippant with her lying, so she's easy to know when she's lying. So I'd love to get her on stand, so that way I can really have her taken out, so to speak, a lot with the law. So right now it's going to be very interesting Christmas and New Year's for me, but that should be fine. There has been what there was those who were wondering if I was going to, vote for the throne. Um, it wasn't that. Of course, but the whole thing about African America is, instead of marching to finally get what was theirs, to suggest, to make sure that they got more than just they actually passed over the infrastructure bill. They actually got voting rights in, but instead, the Democrats definitely left it due to their corporate handlers have left these things on the chopping blocks, therefore purposely making it difficult for Black Americans and working class Americans to vote. The the whole thing with the January 6th, sending the criminal referrals, that's nothing. The enablers with these type of persons, it's the enablers that are most important. They are not capable without their enablers. And so by letting the we've had the 14th Amendment. Their target, these planters, these oligarchs' target has always been the 14th Amendment. Even with the states, this legal, crazy legal thing of the states, it's always been the 14th Amendment. By stopping by using the 14th Amendment to stop and uphold the Constitution is still not, the precedent is not been remedied. just as the precedent with the Magna Carta has not been remedied with King Charles. Now, there was the wonder about the claim for the throne. What they were trying to do for Set was to set me up, do it nice and publicly. See, what they don't want people to know is Her Majesty did confer on me something, conferred on me a title, and King Charles doesn't want to honor that conference of title. So, where you could say, well, we kicked you out, got you out, removed from your place, but we didn't kill you. So we kept that part of the deal. No, the whole thing was not about the hominy dominy, but because there's more than one types of death. Destroying somebody's person is a type of a death. And this is what they've been, why was McRaven hammering me so toughly and going all to the point where he just lost his marbles. What did he not want me to be aware of? Well, it's the title. So the and how many people did they pay off? Because we know that they paid off Anise, we know they paid off McManus, we know that they paid off Don, of course the Kardashians, and then Jay Z and Dr. Dre, that whole thing. But it was the thing that they could not understand, they weren't seeing, don't want to see, is African American situations is they're just considered drug dealers and faggots. Unfortunately, that's what the left is considered. And by not creating a strong masculine within the Democratic Party that is also melanated, you're doing the entire Democratic, you're doing black American men disjustice, then you're doing the entire society an injustice. Because it's just saying only masculine can be Caucasian, which was what we see with Trump. There was a counter. When you have Ron DeSantis playing his tough guy, whiny sense thing, exact same thing. So the Democratic Party was being set up by McRaven for his own purposes. McRaven was still trying to kill me, so I assume once I get this taken care of, will try to go after me again. So I don't have much time within this last place, but I do know what can be accomplished and has to be accomplished within a certain amount of time. How do I know that they were? The Democrats started trying to extend this out. This whole situation of using my person without my without my authority, and more so without my compensation. The world seems to be wants to gaslight me and continue to gaslight me, and so this is much more in McRaven's benefit or favor to try to just keep destroying me. Where you also have King Charles going to continue harming the family. I felt it was first a trap, but now I'm just going to place it in anyways. I doubt it will get to Parliament before Christmas, but hopefully it will. Probably get there before New Year's, which is the main thing. Because the the reason, one of the reasons she elevated me, Her Majesty elevated me, was to relieve the pressure off of Lady Markle. So I have to continue on with what I have to continue on with. The January 6th committee did not go far enough. It didn't hold coup plotters, the insurrectionists to to task, especially the ones who, the main ones. Yes, it made criminal referrals to the Justice Department, but it's not the Justice Department that is supposed to maintain the balance of power of the executive on the executive branch. So, say for instance, next time it wasn't an executive branch. I mean, it wasn't a it was a hostile executive branch and a non and a rule of law Congress. Congress did not force the president, the former president, the ex-president, to testify. It did not reassert itself. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okie dokie. Might be van life for me this winter. We'll see what. But it's nicer not constantly being harassed. Just the first week, it's kind of like, but it just seems like that they use all the time, so I wouldn't send the letters. Play for the you know, so I wouldn't send the letters. Now, one thing that might have been concerning is they're thinking, oh, you got all this power, you were putting out bullets and guns into everyone's head. And he goes, no, it's still there. They can't kill me. But they're also, what they were trying to do, still trying to do, is to pull and devalue Lady Markle. Lady Markle might make her mistakes, but everything is evident that she has always tried to step up to the plate and then was immediately hurrying down. And that's not cool. It's a difference where if she tried, like the other guy, that one king who got pulled over, pulled away, and he gave everything up. No, Lady Markle's really trying to do what is right. She really is standing by her man, which, especially coming from kind of her background, it's kind of, like she should be a lot more respected for what that. Now, I have not looked at the Netflix documentary, which is them trying to their voice, trying to reclaim their space in person, and I totally understand that without a doubt. The next couple of weeks, several weeks, are going to be very, very, very difficult. Um, but I'll make it happen. Go, Day, go get that taken care of. Make sure my Rosicrucian stuff is taken care of. Let's look at all of the bills and stuff that needs to be done and things like that. But the good news, as far as the situation, as far as, well, is that Princess Anne has been warned about what's going on. But if they and but I realize how weakened Black America is, how fiercely they attacked me and ferociously. it's just like, hey, dude, you should make some money, man. But greed, and they probably shouldn't have said that whole thing with the money part. They probably lost it at that point. Kind of didn't think through that part. I don't get the jealousy as easy as most people do. Um, but then again, I'm almost not trying to externalize my fears. Right now, it looks like Bakhmut in Ukraine is the main go, and ground still hasn't frozen. It might not freeze this year, but it's still getting cold. But it seems more and more upgrades to the Ukrainian military. As long as those upgrades are coming with the fact that, okay, if we're doing this, we're making sure we're preparing ourselves for the rebuilding, which they have gotten. The EU has got around Orban as he's trying to play his little game. Putin's pet and tool. The question I have right now, because I feel kind of blah, you know, you couldn't get anyone to listen, couldn't get anyone to see what was right in front of them, and when they did see it, it's we have Amazon Labor Union. They've only gotten one of five that they've targeted, and they're not looking at, okay, how is Amazon countering our processes? They probably are looking at it because it's obvious you can't do flyers, can't do this. How are there different ways of reaching these persons who are working? What have is Mr. Smalls and his cohort? What have they? Okay, they've gotten the votes, but how has it helped their their constituents, so to speak? Mr. Smalls is wearing the do rag. Talking about, which I understand, the workers thing, but is he at least being professional? Because to some, it's like just the criminals. But and I can also see it from the perspective, well, it was your criminals that got the labor unions that have been crushed, and that's why they say, well, they can say, well, that's why we crushed them, kind of thing. I think labor unions are good, but because of, as we now look at the human behavior of such situation, we see why they were criminals on the other side. Now we know this. So, for instance, why isn't we don't have laws that says 6 months, then it goes to arbitration, non-binding 2 rounds, third round being binding arbitration. These are things that could be done that balance balance the way things are going between labor and capital. With, of course, the entrepreneur being in the middle trying to get it all together. You see how the need for a good entrepreneur, good capital. Capital came in because they were tired of being of Twitter. So they didn't have any control of it, so they took over control of it, and then you see what happens. And but to them, to capital, it's going perfectly because now they can regain control of Twitter and they can regain control of the narrative. So that's what they think. It's like they're no better than the Chinese, but they think they're the government. You know, I'm really upset with Black America, but not really surprised. Even though I'm not totally upset, just kind of like, they did what they are taught to do, and they didn't like it, but being called out like that. But you see also what happened with Chapek. Iger saw like, oh yeah, I can do this. I see he's doing it, and then comes in and steals his shit. You might say, well, it's the 48 laws of power. Yeah, I guess you could, but it's not gonna be better. I think it's gonna actually be worse. This is how Kennedy's been constantly. I could not. I see why George, just to try to get rid of this. her attacks are unrelenting, but the fact that she steals the writings of the people from who are going through their own Rosicrucian steps and then blocks them. This isn't the this attack that she did on me is not her first rodeo. So we'll see if it gets there by the first. Because no matter what, here's the situation: the letters to Parliament, and it's up to the and the and Prince William are necessary because what they're doing to Lady Markle is what they'll do to the rest of any melanated persons. If they practice once, then they'll practice, then they'll do it again. They need to be stopped now. Do you understand? You can't just. You have to. What makes. I'm starting to realize why Her Majesty used me because I don't fit into the mold, and I can't be bought. More so, I can't be bought. That's why the importance of Her Majesty's, syndicate, hedge fund, syndication, whatever you want to call it, whatever its final form is. So I got to keep going, which means I'll probably be attacked later today. All right. Slava Ukraine. Glory to democracy. May the flag forever wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. And persons such as some black African Americans might not see or care about the flag. I don't care about them. They don't know what they have. Jay-Z might be upset, but yeah, I know about the second refrain. Known about it for years. But just as black folks use colorism in the word black and Negro, whatever, it's the same thing with the flag. The flag means something because we make it mean something. Yeah, we know about the history of racism and bigotry and stupidity, but we also now know that it's a pattern that's fairly predictable, but it's a behavior pattern, and we can make rules of law to counter that behavior pattern to make humanity a better place, to make us a better being. So God bless us. Merry Christmas if I don't do another one, and Happy New Year. Well, I'll probably say that one before. I'll probably have another one before that happens.